It's We'll See About That with World Series MVP Ron Cey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to We'll See About That. Ron Cey here with Mike Gary. And on the eve of the World Series, we are now also entering into the opening game of the National Basketball Association season. And as we speak, both the Lakers and Clippers went down. LeBron was not playing, and despite 40-some points from Luka, the Lakers went down. The Clippers also lost, and we had an unbelievable performance by Wemby. The Spurs beat the Dallas club with their super rookie, Cooper Flagg. So it was a big start for the NBA.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. The scandal-ridden Clippers, losing by 40 to Utah, and then Wemby comes in, and of course Wemby's been training. You can see he's bulked up a little bit.
Yes.
He put a game on for the ages. 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, multiple assists. He's 15 for 21 from the field.
Yeah, well, all those statistics, as they are incredibly impressive. If you would have seen him in the highlight film last night, I mean, my God, he did a double reverse slam dunk from about 20 feet away that I don't even know how he got there. He was out finessing.
He was taking guard. Here's a 7'7" center taking guards off the dribble, and throwing it down, and then bringing the ball up, dribbling the ball 3 times end to end, and then stroking threes. I mean, he might be the Shohei Ohtani of basketball.
Well, I got to tell you, I saw him at the top of the key. He dribbled between his legs, around his back, did a step back 3, got fouled, and made it. Okay, and you're not supposed to be able to do that at 7'6", 7'7", whatever he is, with shoes on or without shoes on. Unbelievable. I think we can probably start getting prepared for more games like that.
I think we might be entering, so long as he doesn't get hurt.
Oh, yes.
But I think we are entering a special era in the NBA concerning Wemby.
Yeah, well, I was very impressed. I had a couple of people telling me that you got to take a look at the highlight film, so I did, and I was glad I did. All right, we have a very special guest coming up right after this. We're going to be joined by Mike Scioscia, so please stay with us. We'll return right after this message. They still call me the Penguin. Okay, welcome back to We'll See About That with our special guest, Mike Scioscia. Mike will be receiving a beautiful fruit gift basket, courtesy of our friends at Melissa's Produce. Melissa's is a proud partner of We'll See About That. Please use my VIP code RONCEY when checking out at melissas.com. Come on and go over there, folks. There's a lot to be seen on that site, man. They've got some great stuff waiting for you. Michael, welcome back. We have a 2-time world champion, a World Series champion manager of the year with the then California Angels, a guy that was fortunate enough to play his entire career with one team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Michael, welcome back. And what is going on in your world these days?
You know what, Ron? Everything's good. You get a little different perspective when you're out of the game, and having a lot of fun and still enjoying the game of baseball, keeping my toe in it with some USA baseball stuff, some stuff for MLB, but everything's going great.
Terrific. And it seems as if the latest news is that the Los Angeles Angels have a new manager in Kurt Suzuki. Your thoughts on that? And where do you think the Angel organization is headed these days?
Well, Kurt's he's a sharp baseball guy. He knows the game. He's caught. He was a catcher. He understands the pitching component. Understands how to relate with people. He's got great communicative skills. Where the organization is going, there's no doubt that there's a thrust to try to get young talent into the organization. A couple years ago, especially on the pitching side, they drafted all their drafts, all 20, as pitchers. So they're doing steps to try to get that pitching depth that you need to really stabilize an organization, and it's not easy to do. It takes more than money. It takes great scouting, and hopefully they're on their way to making some strides. There, they've got some young, good arms in the organization.
That is all good to hear. They do have some good young players coming forward. You also have Mike Trout, who has decided it's seemingly that he wants to stay in Anaheim and see if this thing can't get turned around. You do have some good arms. You've got one of the hardest throwers in the game out of the University of Tennessee. And tell us about the young Adell has come around. You've got other players who are contributing. 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, second baseman hitting from the leadoff spot that's doing a great job. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, Neto at shortstop, the evolution of Adell as a plus outfielder and showing the power at the plate. There are some young guys that are stepping up. Ohapi behind the plate, I really like. He had a great start, had a tough finish, but I think you can build an organization around him, especially handling the pitching staff. There's some bright spots moving forward that they can, that I think they can wrap their arms around and hopefully grow on the offensive side. But, Ryan, the teams you played on, you guys had a deep offense. But what really had the impact was your tremendous pitching staff. When you look at, what Sutton and Bert Hooton and, Bobby Welch, when he came on the scene, did, in 81, what Fernando did for us. So there's always that pitching component you need. And I think that's the first course of action for the Angels, is to get that pitching much deeper.
Well, it seems like they're on the right course, at least if you say from the previous year's draft, they drafted all arms. So, that's you have to understand and recognize, what your needs are, and it looks like they're addressing it. Now it's a matter of having these young players step up and fit the bill.
Well, the development aspect is huge. You spent your time in the minor leagues. I did too. Some of the players now are getting rushed a little bit. I'm not sure if they get that foundation you need, especially on the pitching side, where you've got to take a starting pitcher that you draft, and you've got to nudge him up to be able to throw the 110 pitches a night and the 33 starts you're going to get in the major leagues. And that's a process. It's not, you don't come out of collegiate ball and go right in and be able to accomplish that. I mean, some guys have, but sometimes there's a price to pay, and a lot of these guys are not getting their consistency where it needs to be to compete in the big leagues before they're called up. And it's tough to learn at the major league level. It's tough to learn this game at the major league level. But I know a lot of teams are faced with it. I think just in the Angels situation, I'm hoping a lot of these guys will get the time in the minor leagues to have their game evolve to where they get on the major league field and they're going to be closer to the finished product.
I do agree with you. I think that the system today is a rush system. I don't think that you get to learn all of the things that you need to learn. I don't think you get enough time to adjust to all of these things. You have to have a period of time, I think, where you have to learn how to get out of jams. You got to compete when you don't have your best stuff at night. And if you have 3 or 4 games, 5 games, or if you're an everyday player, a few weeks at one level and everything's good, great. But what do you do when it goes to the downside? That's one of the things that, when I would go and take a look at some players that I was asked to or not, I already had a pretty good understanding of what kind of a player they were. And then I wanted to kind of see how they adjusted to the game as a player, but I wanted to see how they reacted when they struggled a bit. How deep is it going to go? Are they recognizing it? Are they trying to make changes? Are they just sitting there saying, "Yeah, I'll get them tomorrow"? You know, I think it's an important part of the development.
Absolutely, I think you can tell more about a person when they're going bad than you can when they're doing well. And I think those, we've all been through the major leagues. The best hitters that we played with had the 0 for 20s and the 2 for 25s before they found their swing, and all of a sudden you'd start to see them impact the baseball the way they can. So you need this as part of your development in the minor leagues to understand that how do you work out of a situation? Maybe you've got to simplify your swing at times. Maybe you've got to start thinking up the middle or right center more if you're a right-handed hitter that's having a lot of problems, with rolling over or just hitting the breaking ball or whatever the case might be. This is all that experience and that growth you need as a player. And you know what, Ron? I think every player's got to eventually become their own coach. We played. You played long enough, and you figured it out yourself. You knew your swing better than any hitting instructor was going to tell you anything about it. And I think that's what this development in the minor leagues is for these guys to understand their game, understand the adjustments they can and maybe shouldn't make, and understand that team concept game of when you take what the pitcher's giving you. And that has to be learned through repetition of being in the minor leagues, getting your at-bats, getting your reps, and understanding what kind of hitter you are.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think there's there's so many things that you've got to go through, and rushing it doesn't make it easier. I spent a little bit too much time, I believe, in the minor leagues, especially at AAA. But looking back on it, it turned out to be a good thing because I got a little bit more seasoning. I got to see some crafty left-handers, some new pitches like the cut fastball. I got to see some screwballs there. I got to see some knuckleballs, all of which is pretty much obsolete in today's terms. But it really did help me refine my game and the strike zone in particular. I was always able to have, a small strike zone, but I felt like, I learned the strike zone pretty well. And so therefore you do get into a situation where you do have an opportunity to take advantage of what the pitcher is going to be giving you. We're going to be taking a quick break here with our special guest, Mike Scioscia. We'll be right back with more right after We'll See About That. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Ron Cey. All right, we're back with Mike Scioscia. And Mike, in that last segment, you mentioned that it was hard to teach at the major league level. And when you rush these kids at the pace that they're being rushed today, and it has been said many times, that the players are different today. They really have to be handled with some TLC. And if you had a coach that you felt like you really needed to have a relationship above and beyond, is that possibly the pitching coach or the hitting coach? Which one of those would you think might be your more important? Because if I was looking back at it and I was a manager, I think I would rely on my pitching coach to get me through a lot of stuff.
Oh, I think so. As a player, being a catcher, there's no doubt that I felt I learned so much from Red Adams, Ron Paranowski, pitching coaches that I was around. And being in a defensive position, obviously you pay attention to your hitting, but that wasn't really what my major impact was going to be on the team. So, and as far as like teaching the major league level, I think you have to continue to teach the major league level, Ron. But it is tougher when these kids have such voids in their game and come up trying to shrink those voids because they're not quite ready to I always say, see the beast. Yeah. They get up there, they understand now what the beast of the major leagues is about, much different than AAA. There's a huge gap between AAA players and major league players. Now, AAA players, there are some guys in AAA that just need the opportunity.
Right.
But for the most part, you're not quite seeing the same edge that pitchers have in AAA that they have in the major leagues. So I think there's a growth. You have to continue to grow as a player because you have a new set of variables you're looking at. But if those voids are big, where a guy has not understood a two-strike approach or what's important of situational hitting and what pitchers are trying to do with him, and if he can't handle a fastball away, it's going to be tough for him, to handle anything else because you have that one zone you swing at. So there are so many things on the offensive side coming up with, and then even from the defensive side, catching it's a different animal to understand the pitches, understand how you put them together for each different pitcher. And if that hasn't started from your first day in the minor leagues, then it's tough when you get to the major leagues to all of a sudden jumpstart it and do it. And I was very fortunate to be around some great baseball minds as a catcher when I was young. And it really just it got me on the right path to understanding the things that you're going to have to bring into a game every night if you're going to play.
No question about it. You were for it, and you probably had some influence here. Wanted to kind of go right to Shohei Ohtani. You had Shohei his rookie year. You saw a lot of things there about that. Was he pretty coachable? Was he still kind of shy? And give us a run through about that.
Shohei's he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
And in the recruitment process, which I was part of, and the meetings we had with Shohei, you could understand the questions he was asking. That he wanted to be not only the best he can be, he wanted to be the best in baseball, and he understood his talent. He also understood what it was going to take for him to get there, and he worked very hard at that. He was set back with some arm injuries where he couldn't pitch, a couple of Tommy John surgeries, during the course of his career. But I'll tell you what, Ron, I've never seen anybody with the depth of his talent, like what he did in the last, in the last game in the playoffs, 3 home runs and pitching 6 innings. I mean, that is that's a game for the ages right there. Yeah. He wants to be great. He wants to continue to be great, and he will work no matter how this season turns out. In the World Series, he will work as hard as he can to get back to where he wants to be. And he's just a special player.
The game that Mike just mentioned, Mr. Mike Scioscia, do you guys think that was the best game ever played by a player?
It's tough to beat. I think statistically, I don't think you ever see a guy hit 3 home runs and pitch away the way that he did. He's. I think what's impressive about Shohei is, we talked about before, Ron, is when this guy, it's not always flowers and the birds are chirping in his game and he's always on his game. He goes through some tough times.
Oh yeah,
but he never goes into a batter's box or goes on the mound without the utmost confidence that he's going to achieve and he's going to be the best out there. And I think you can see it in the batter's box how he struggled a little bit, comes back and has a game like he had the other day. That's a testament to his makeup. And it reminds me a lot of Mike Trout on the makeup side, because Mike Trout's the same way. He can go strike out 3 times in a game and come up in the 9th inning, and he knows he's going to win the game for you and come through. That's a special. It's just a special trait.
Yeah, it must have been a lot of fun having those guys back to back in that lineup for a very short period of time. But I can't argue with the possibility that might have been the greatest game played. It's certainly in the mix. I mean, think of it this way. You pitch 6 innings, you strike out 10 guys, you give up 2 hits, 3 walks, you get the win, and then you go to the plate and you're 3 for 3. You got one of the 2 teams' walks. You got 3 runs scored, which is 3 of the 5 runs. You got 3 of the 9 hits. All of those were home runs. Those were the only home runs hit in the entire game. He got 3 of the 5 RBIs. He hits the ball out of the stadium for the second time.
Yeah.
And technically speaking, under old terms, he would have gotten the game-winning RBI as well. That's a statistic that doesn't exist anymore. They follow it, but they don't track it as a league statistic. But yeah, I mean, how does anybody do that? I mean, it's not even you could have been very creative, okay, and not come up with something like that.
It's a Little League style game. The only other performance that I'd maybe even put in the same category would be Shawn Green's 6 for 6, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, 24 total bases.
Yeah, and then Shohei Ohtani did something really ridiculous too. He drove in 10 runs, wasn't it, last year? Yeah. And he goes 50-50, and it's like he goes 50 again this year. 20 stolen bases, scores 150 runs, plays every day, from the DH, don't have to be pressed with playing defense. But when he does pitch, I mean, just like he did in Anaheim, I think one year he won 15 games over there, didn't he? And
he was hurt the first year he pitched with us. He got hurt early, but he came back and had some great games. But talking about Shawn Green, that's an incredible game. But Shawn Green didn't pitch. He didn't pitch in the same game. I think what Shohei did was play the most important defensive position on the field is your pitcher, and that's where it starts. So what he did on the defensive end of containing a terrific team like the Milwaukee underperformed for sure. They were a good team. Yeah. They were shut down with the Dodgers pitching, and they had some really good arms on the mound pitching against the Dodgers. And for him to hit 3 home runs and pitch like that, I'll tell you what, there's not many games where a player has done as much as he did.
Yeah, when you look at it, the rest of it, like Milwaukee did nothing, and they didn't look like they even belonged in this series. They did absolutely nothing offensively, which is too bad because they did have a terrific year. And then you look at the offensive side of things, and he dominated the offense, and it's like this is Little League stuff. This was all his game. It was all about him. Offensively, pitching, I mean, it was an amazing game. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it, and a lot of people seem to feel the same way. When you first got Shohei over here, were there any restrictions on what you could do and what you couldn't do, as far as his contract was concerned?
Yeah, well, not so much his contract, but the reason I think one of the reasons why he came down with the Angels was we were the first team that was adamant that said, you are going to get a chance to pitch and you're going to hit. Absolutely. But some teams said, we really just want you to pitch. Hey, we just want you to hit. We say, you're going to do both. So it was a little complicated to figure out exactly what he needed because he'd never tried this in the major leagues. So he threw a bullpen on a day. He couldn't hit that night. He would get another, he'd recover. So there definitely were some parameters that were handed down to us from the front office and our medical staff just to try to get him comfortable in in Major League Baseball, of playing every day, we tried to get him on the 6-day rotation like he had in Japan. So there were things that we were trying to feel out. I think Shohei was trying to feel out. But once he did, and everybody took the gloves off and just let him play, look what he's done. And that's one of the things we saw on the offensive side. And I had many conversations with front office saying, look, this guy is not going to get a chance offensively to contribute if he's only getting 300 at-bats a year, which is kind of what they were looking at. And I was told, look, that's going to change as he moves on. But right now, that's where we are. And you can see the offensive production he has being able to hit every day.
Well, looking back on it now, Angel fan was licking his lips when you had Ohtani and you had Trout and you had Albert Pujols at a later stage. But wouldn't it have been interesting to see what those guys as a threesome would have been able to do in their prime? Because it's pretty well documented that Mike Trout and Albert Pujols probably had the best 10 years of a career start than anybody in the history of baseball. I would have been interested in seeing that one. We're going to be right back with Mike Scioscia and talk about the World Series right after this message.
And we are back. We'll see about that with the legend, the champion, the MVP, Mr. Ron Cey. I am Mike Gary, and I was quite mean to Ron last week because this week in Dodger history was the famous Reggie Jackson Bronx's burning 3-home run game, but I'm going to make it up to you this week.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This week in Dodger history, that is 1981. After dropping the first 2 games of the Fall Classic, the Dodgers defeat the Yankees 9-2, capturing the World Championship in 6 games. The victory at the Bronx ballparks marks the 3rd time that postseason that Los Angeles will come from behind to win a series, having been down 0-2 against the Astros in the 5-game strike necessitated NLDS and 1-2 behind the Expos in the NLCS 5-game series. Congrats, Ron. I believe you had a couple hits in that game.
I did, and you brought up something that Michael and I can both share, and that is our first World Series championship. And so we're very proud of all of that. And as we move on, this baseball season turned out to be quite exciting. We had pennant races with the Dodgers and San Diego. We had it with Seattle and Houston, the Yankees and Toronto. Detroit did a flip and went south, and Cleveland caught them and ended up right there at the end. And, of course, the Phillies kind of ran away with the East, and Milwaukee kind of did the same in the Central in the National League. And here we are. The Toronto Blue Jays, Los Angeles Dodgers. By the time that our listening and viewing audience will hear this, we will be 1 game into the World Series. How do you like both sides? How do you sum it up?
I think first and foremost, you look at the starting pitching and the depth the Dodgers have, plus the shutdown arms they have of the guys that they're putting out there. Are going to have the biggest impact in this game. Not that they're not beatable, but you have to pitch with these guys, and I think that's going to be the real question mark and the real challenge for Toronto is not as much seeing if they can hit these guys, can they pitch with them? And if they can pitch with them and they can keep the game at where they want to be, there's no doubt about some of the voids that have plagued the Dodgers in their bullpen can't possibly show up again, and you can win a game late. So they have Sasaki at the back end of the pen. He could be a miracle worker for where they are now. The 2 left-handers have to do their job. Banda and Vesio have to do their job when they're called on. Blake Treinen has the talent, but he hasn't been on his mark for most of the year. So if they can pitch with the starting pitch of the Dodgers, it's going to be an interesting situation. If they can't, and the Dodgers get out to some leads, it could be what you saw, how the Dodgers played against Milwaukee. That could be this series too.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Dodger fan is predicting, 4-1, 4-2 series. I think they'll just roll through these guys. Bichette is supposed to be able to come back now. He's supposed to be eligible for this series. That'll add another bat to their lineup. They put the ball in play in comparison pretty good to everybody else. I think that you're right. I think that you have to hope that if you're a Blue Jay fan that they can hold their own pitching wise. But they've got some bats in the lineup too, and Vladimir Guerrero right now is red hot. And if he gets in a situation where he can hurt you and the game's on the line, you better think twice about that.
Well, he's a special talent like his dad. I mean, every time I see him, I keep thinking about that, little pudgy 3-4-year-old kid that would come out and swing the bat almost like he is now. I mean, this kid was something special when he was young. You could just see that this kid was going to grow up to be a hitter. And there's no doubt about him being the backbone of that offensive team. But they've got some guys who are going to put the ball in play. They are going to run the bases aggressively. Their offensive lineup does not have the depth that the Dodgers do. That's pretty obvious. But I think, like you said, when you mentioned Bichette, getting him back in the lineup is going to be, or can be, big for Toronto because it adds a bigger bat in there that might lengthen their lineup a little bit.
Well, I do like their catcher, and he provides a lot of stability, I believe. George Springer from the top of the lineup. He's been there before. He's been a World Series MVP before. He got a huge home run that destroyed my Mariners in the 7th inning on the last game. I think they're brimming with confidence. I think it's going to be an exciting year, exciting series. I hope it is because I really like it when you have things kind of nail biters going back and forth like the 7-game series with the Mariners.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no doubt. I think one thing with the Dodgers going up to having to play 4 in Toronto, that gives them a little edge for sure. It's a different field. Obviously a different playing surface, and the Dodgers are used to playing in Dodger Stadium. The ball does carry a lot down the lines, and Dodgers can take advantage of that, but also on the pitching side, some balls that were warning track fly balls at some parks are going to be out of Toronto. Yeah. So there's just trying to get familiar with the environment is something the Dodgers are going to have to grow with and get used to quickly. But this series can go a lot of different ways, and I agree with you. I hope it's exciting, but we'll see. We're going to see how well the Dodger starting pitching does, because I think that's what the big indicator is going to be as to how this series goes.
Well, when you were talking about Guerrero and his son, I had a similar experience. Kid turned out to be a pretty good player. His name was Griffey. I got to watch him on the field a lot too. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. These kids were well ahead of everything, being on the field every day with all the major leaguers. The Dodger pitching was so good and so dominant. It's now the World Series. This is what it's all about. This is what you played for all year to get here. They have been really great this last series against Milwaukee. Do you think they are capable of a follow-up game?
Oh, absolutely, they're capable, but there's no sure thing. You know that, Ron. There's no doubt they're capable. I think that each pitcher is going to do what they can do, and you saw the first 2 games against Milwaukee where they got a shutout and 8 incredible innings from Snell. They're going to be capable of doing that again. And you look at Glasnow, and this guy's a stud, but he's not going to be pitching into the 8th inning. He's gonna be probably a little bit shorter on his length because that's where he is right now. So these guys are going to do what they're used to doing, and I think there's going to be a lot of things that are peripheral that are going to dictate how the Dodgers do outside of maybe what a guy like Glasnow does going through 6 innings. What happens in innings 7, 8, 9. And so there's a lot of things that are going to be interesting to watch. So we'll see.
Gentlemen, this game opens up in Toronto, and that Toronto crowd is raucous. Do you think that having that kind of crowd will maybe does it help you guys? Having a huge crowd reaction like that.
Oh, for me, we played in front of 50,000 people all the time. So I mean, we were versed to it. I just listened to a bit of this Dodger radio show the other day saying, I think the biased, of course, as you might imagine, but but they said, oh my God, just think of it, the Dodgers are going to have a huge advantage when they go to Toronto. And he says, the very first batter is going to be Shohei Ohtani, and they're going to be booing him. And I started to laugh, and I'm saying, of course they're going to boo him. And he says, but it's going to be an advantage because now that's going to stir up the players. They're going to light the fire under the Dodger players. Look, you don't need an extra fire to be lit. It's the World Series. And besides, it's kind of ho-hum. I mean, everywhere he goes, he's going to get the same treatment, and they expect it. So I don't think it's going to be any advantage in that regard. They have a mission to do. They're well-schooled in it. This is their 4th appearance in, last 8 years, maybe so? Something like what we did. But, yeah, I think that they're probably, like this is, kind of old news. great news, but kind of old news.
Penguin, you've been in, I think, 4 World Series, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I played in 2, managed in 1. And I don't think there's a game you go on the road where the crowds aren't crazy.
Exactly.
So we did it in Yankee Stadium. When I was managing, we did it up at, in San Francisco. Thank God it wasn't Candlestick, but San Francisco was crazy. There are teams that have to go. You have to go in the playoffs in '81. You go into the Astrodome.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Then you go up to Olympic Stadium, and that was crazy too. So when you go on the road. I mean, we played in Shea Stadium in '88. You know what it's going to be like. You know what the crowd's going to be like. So that should be a non-issue. You go out there and play the game, focus on playing the game. I think playing in LA, because we had so many big crowds, does get you used to understanding that don't let it be a distraction. Whether they're cheering us in LA or whatever, you have to go out there and you have to perform. And I think it's that gets you into that focus of knowing what you need to do. And you had so many clutch hits for the Dodgers during their all the championship seasons. I don't think you were thinking I'm in LA and this crowd's behind me, so I'll hit a home run now. It's just a fact that you can't let it be a distraction. Whether someone's cheering for you or cheering against you, you can't let it be a distraction, because that can definitely that momentum can go in the wrong direction if it is.
Well, I want to take a moment to say thank you to all you Dodger fans out there for over the years. You inspired us a great deal. You were always at our back. On the road, we would get booed. We expected it. They don't like people who beat them. They don't like successful teams, and they didn't like us in Candlestick Park much. But you know what? We thrived off of it. If I didn't get booed in Candlestick Park, I'd be disappointed. Honest to God, yeah,
You're
no
not
question
kidding,
about it.
And you did. I'll tell you what, that was an environment there.
Anyway, we're going to have to cut things short, Michael. I want to thank you so much for your expertise. In closing, who do you like?
I like the Dodgers. I just think that they've got the depth. I think Toronto's got to play a perfect series to get to their goal. And not that they can't do that, but that's the way they have to play. The Dodgers have a lot of depth, and they can maybe, erase some of the mistakes that might happen early in the game and come out on top. So I like the Dodgers in this series.
Well, I think most people are going to say quite the same thing. Now they all have to do is just go out and prove it. All right, that was Mike Scioscia. Thank you so much, Michael. We'll get you again next time. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be right back after this message.
Hey, Ron. How you doing?
And we are back. We'll see about that. Once again, thank you so much to Mike Scioscia for joining us. And as always, I'm joined by the legend, the MVP, the champion, Mr. Ron Cey. You can check out his website, theronceyshow.com. He's also on Instagram. Find The Real Ron Cey. Also available for special requests on Cameo. And, of course, our complete podcast archives are available on aforementioned theronceyshow.com. Also on Spotify and Apple. Please give us a rate, subscribe, and review. We have another manager being hired. The San Francisco Giants have announced Tennessee coach Tony Vitello has been named their manager, and it's marking the first time that is, that a big league team has hired a manager directly from a college program. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that this is the new age where you are looking for managers, and the first thing out, the prerequisite is no experience necessary, right? And I'm sure that this new manager probably has a terrific track record, but he will be in the hands of metrics, and that'll be it. And we'll see what happens. But I think that this is definitely the way that the game is going to go. You're going to be hiring new young people who are going to be able to take direction, have had success, and the old school players that have aspirations of becoming managers are going to get the door, and that's going to be on the way out, not the way in.
So are we seeing finally the completion of the shift of the base of power on a team going from the manager to the GM now?
Well, you have a player who had great success, Buster Posey. came from a terrific program, Florida State. We have, a new blood in the game. He's now a general manager a few years after he retired, young. So maybe that's the way it is. But, certainly wish them well. I hope it works, but it's certainly a different direction.
Last question. Are you involved in any illegal poker games that we need to talk about?
No, I don't gamble. Okay. I'm not really a guy that goes to Las Vegas and gambles, unfortunately.
All right, we'll discuss that next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe I should take some tips from, what's that golfer's name?
From Phil Mickelson. Maybe Phil Mickelson, Chauncey Billups, and Gilbert Arenas will host us at their next poker game.
Oh, my God. Well, I don't know. But anyway, I want to thank you all for joining us. You guys have a great weekend and enjoy the World Series and its beginnings. See you next time.